Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate now how to throw a cylinder for beginners. The first thing you want to make sure that you have is 2 or 3 balls of clay already prepared, so that if you make a mistake you can start right away and you don't have to get up and prepare clay again. So you're going to take your clay, and the first thing you'll do is make the hit or place it as close to the middle of the wheel as possible. Then with the slow wheel and dry hands, you're slap centering the clay so that it gets more towards the center and attached to the wheel. And then after slap centering, you're going to seal it to the wheel with your index finger so that you can get it to stay. Once you've slap centered and sealed it to the wheel, you're going to wet your hands and wet the clay. And you're going to wet center. Tuck your elbows into your body against your legs. The heel of your left hand should be pushing from 7 o'clock on the wheel to the opposite right corner of the wheel. The blade of your right hand should be coming down on top. And when there's no lateral movement, that's when you know the clay is centered. If it's off center, it looks like this, okay? And you want it to be centered, so you want to lean on it really hard with your left and push down with your right. Another thing you can do to center is called coning. So if it's off center, something else that you can do is you can grab the clay, still lean in with your left, but instead of putting your right hand on top, you can squeeze that right hand into the left and squeeze the clay up. You're not pulling on it, you're squeezing it so that it goes up into a taller mound. And what you're doing is kind of mixing the clay together and also helping to center it. They also call this wedging on the wheel. Then you can take the palm of your left hand right here and your thumb and push back down to center the clay. And then put your right hand on top. And you want to always slowly approach the clay, have the wheel on, slowly approach the clay and slowly remove your hands. If you remove your hands too fast, so you could have it centered, and if you take your hands away too fast, you'll knock it off center. So you want to remove your hands slowly. You want to sneak up on it and sneak away. Then you're going to open the mound. And in the video where I had the bowl demonstration, I showed you how to open the mound with 2 thumbs. You can also do this with your dominant hand, and for me that's my left hand. So I'm going to take my left hand, the fingers of my left hand, and support them with my right and push down to make a single hole. So you can do that with your thumbs or with your one hand. Okay. Then you can check the thickness of the floor by stopping the wheel, and you can use a paper clip or a pin tool. I've opened up a paper clip, and I'm going to put it through the clay until it touches the wheel head. Then slide my finger down until it touches the clay, and when I lift it, that tells me how thick the floor is. Okay, and this floor is about 1/4 inch thick. And for the cylinder, we are not going to need extra clay to trim a foot, so 1/4 inch is good. So right now, the floor inside is about the size of a dime. I have to open the floor straight across to make my cylinder floor, a flat floor. So I'm going to take my dominant hand, put it inside, support with my non-dominant hand, and pull it straight across the bottom. I'm not pulling up like I did with the bowl to create a curve. I want to create a flat floor. And if as you're pulling out you have a wiggle, like I just put in here, you can correct the wiggle by putting your left hand like you're going to center, but taking your right hand and giving it a squeeze and squeezing it till it stops wiggling. Okay, that's one way to correct it. And you want to correct things like centering problems before you go on, because they'll just get worse. So once you've opened the floor till it's about 3 inches in diameter or a little more, you can compress the floor to make it stronger. Since you've opened it, you've pulled the particles apart and separated them, so it's a good idea to go back over and compress the floor. Then I'm going to do again my rim statement with my left hand, index and thumb here, and my right index finger here. And then foot statement here to indent so that I can lift the walls. And I'm going to grab my sponge, wet the clay, tuck my sponge in my right hand again. Left hand is opposite and slightly above, and this time I'm going to be pulling in and up. I'm trying to make it more of a cone shape to begin with. This is a very stable form. Pull in and up, rim statement, foot statement, and then I can repeat this pull. It's very easy to make the opening get wider. It's really hard if you pull open and it's flared to get the wall to go back in. So it's best to start with a cone form. And then I'm going to pull my second pull here. And I want to pull slower than the wheel is turning so that the clay has a full revolution, so it gets a full revolution through my hands as I pull the wall up to make it taller. Again, wetting the clay, this time down at the bottom here. And see how it's become more cylindrical. Okay. When it's leather hard, you'll be trimming it. I'll show you now. I'm cleaning the water out of the inside. You don't want to leave water inside. I can give it a little squeeze to make this more of a straight cylinder. Rim statement. And do one more unifying pull just to straighten up the floor. Okay. And I have a little extra clay that I don't really need, and I can trim that off now. I can take this wooden tool here, hold it against the wall, push down along this line of the wall. Get rid of this extra clay now so that I have less work to do later. I can take it off here. Okay. And then I'm ready to take this off of the wheel. So to take it off the wheel, what did I do with this? I'm going to put a little bevel in here, just underneath. Put water on the opposite side again. Take my wire tool and hold it, twist it around my hands with my thumbs here, pushing against the wheel head so that I drag the water underneath. And that helps to move the piece off the wheel. At the base of the piece, I'm going to push it onto my other hand here. And then when it's leather hard, we'll trim the bottom and clean it up. But we won't be trimming a foot on this one like we would the bowl. I'll show you how thick the wall is and show you how it should be fairly even thickness. So I'll cut it in half so you can see that. So here's the wall thickness is fairly even. The floor is a little on the thin side, but it's fine as long as it's not going to crack. And then if there's extra thickness here at the bottom, you can turn that over and trim it when it's leather hard. There you have it.